Welcome back to E39 Source. This is Ryan Schultz and the 2000 E39 M5. Doing a bit of a DIY today that I've been contemplating doing for quite a while, but we're going to finally proceed ahead with it. I actually started this a couple of weeks ago. I ordered the OEM BMW Sport Pedals from ECS Tuning. I'll include that part number down below. And right after my first few clips on the installation, I noticed that the accelerator pedal that was included with the kit was too short. It was only about 8 1/4 inch long. And when I laid it up against the accelerator pedal here, it would only come up about that high. So upon further inspection and further research, I learned that the M5 actually came with a 9.5 inch accelerator, whereas all the other BMWs of the time, the 540, the 525, 28, 30, all the 3 Series, the 7s, they all had 8.25 inch throttles. So BMW, ironically, does not make their sport pedal kit for the M5. So from Bimmian.com, I found the OEM style. It's the same thing, the same look with the rubber insert grips. They make this that has the 9.5 inch accelerator pedal. So that's what we're going to be installing today. Now, a couple points. I've already removed in the old video that I no longer have the old pedals, which at least the brake and the clutch look like this. Note the brake pedal has this little sleeve on it to keep your foot from coming over and getting behind the brake pedal. It's got this little stopper. The clutch pedal's the same idea, it just doesn't have that little stopper on it. So to remove these old pedals, they just sandwich around the actual pedal in the car. So you're just going to want to pry that out like that and peel it off. Depending on the condition of your rubber ones, it's a really strong, durable rubber. It took me a couple minutes and kind of hurt my fingers a little bit getting under there and pulling them off. If you are just looking to replace the OEM pedals, I actually have those. They're about $3 from ECS. I figured I'd just buy a set in case I want to go back to stock at some point. The part number for the brake pedal is 3521116042. Part number for the clutch pedal is 3521110864. But those are going to go in the parts drawer because today we're installing those. I believe the kit is about $105 from ECS. It's just about the same price if you had, say, a 540 or other 5 Series or other BMW that you wanted to install the OEM pedals on with the 8 1/4 inch throttle. About the same price as these. And it comes with this little bit of hardware. It looks like it's a very small hex head, so hopefully I have a hex key that small. I should probably check that out before I start drilling. Comes with all the washers and all the nuts you're going to need for this. Unlike the OEM set, it does not come with a template, so what I'm going to do, since the brake and clutch pedal are the same, I'm going to line it up, get the fitment exactly where I want it, and then I'm going to use this fine-tipped gray Sharpie to stick through the hole and make a little dot where each hole needs to be drilled. Then we're going to find an appropriate sized drill bit that's just a wee bit smaller than the threaded Allen keys that are included, or Allen screws that are included. We'll get those 4 holes drilled, put some washers on the back side of it, put the nut on there, tighten them down. Should be that simple. I'm going to do the clutch first, and we'll try to film that as best as I can without any help or a tripod that I can put in the car since my car has seats in it. Clutch is going to be easier because it's plastic. It isn't metal. It's a really thick, durable plastic. Shouldn't be too hard to drill through. On the contrary, the brake pedal is this kind of corrugated piece of metal. So depending on where those holes line up, it may be pretty difficult to be able to drill into that since it's corrugated and it's metal. So that's going to be a little bit more challenging. Then the accelerator pedal isn't going to sit all the way flush down on the carpet. It needs to move up just a tiny little hair. So we're going to have to hold that, maybe put some tape around it or something, mark the holes, and then drill there as well. Alright, so the Sharpie method appears to have worked fairly well. I started with my smallest drill bit and worked my way up to something of about that size. I do not have a exact size on that, but you can hold it up to the screw. I actually went with something a tiny bit larger than the screw, so we have a little bit of wiggle room. After you do that, run your finger, or maybe some sandpaper if it's rough enough, on the other side just to break free any of this plastic crap. That's why I have this towel in here to protect the carpets. You want to be able to get that all off so you have a nice snug fitment once we get the proper tools to get a washer and this tiny little nut, which I'm again hoping I have a I don't know, socket, a wrench. You could probably hold it with your fingers and get it tight enough. But I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down. I'll try to get you some sizes on the size of this nut and then the little Allen tip screw. All right, one down, two to go. I'm sure that was the easiest one. Maybe about 5 minutes after I got the drill bit size right. The hex head is a really tiny one. Mine aren't labeled for some reason. It was about the 4th smallest one I had in my kit. The nut on the back is a 6mm, so if you've got like a little 6.6mm or an open-ended wrench, really you can hold it with your fingers and get it tight enough. But for that final turn, I did throw a socket wrench on the back. It's really tight, it's not going anywhere, it feels really good, and I like the look so far. So I'm going to move on to the brake pedal now. I'm going to do the same thing with the Sharpie and let you know how drilling through corrugated metal goes. Alright, well, we've made a mess of this down here. The brake pedal went fairly well. By the time you get the little pinpoints with your Sharpie on the actual metal brake pedal, they're on the kind of the rise of the corrugated metal. So every time you try to start drilling, it either drops down into the groove or pops up into the groove. So you've got to play a little bit, maybe start with, like, get a little pilot hole on a tiny drill. Just once you get an indentation in the metal, then you can switch up to your higher drill and give it hell. The brake pedal wasn't too bad. It's the accelerator that I've been fighting with. The back of that pedal is about that thick versus the brake and clutch, which are very thin. I don't know if you can tell yet, but the screws that I used on top of the accelerator are not the supplied screws. They actually appear to be some sort of wood screw with the square bit. And I ended up drilling a very small hole in the plastic, and then those are self-tapping, very wide thread screws, so they kind of just bit their way in. The bottom two were probably the least fun. I did get to use the OEM screws, and they've got the nuts on the back of them, so it's tight. It's not going anywhere. The top of it's tight too. It's not going to flap in the breeze. It just, you know, if you were to get down on your knees and look at it, you would clearly see that those are indeed the incorrect screws. Now, let me point this out. As you're sitting in the car, as you're driving the car, let me go back to my seat position here. And if you were to take a look down there, there's what you see. Yeah. If you come down all the way down here, my camera is closer to my belly button than my chest. You might see it, but otherwise, that's going to be fine, and I think that's going to more than do the job. So I'm going to vacuum up all the plastic shavings that I got on my carpet, clean my mat, put that back in, and I think that's going to be a job well done. I'm happy with that. I tried to look at and see if I could pull the actual pedal off, take it inside and work on it, and there's just no way. Looks like a pretty big pain in the rear. So a little tip with the bottom two on the accelerator though, get something sticky on your hand. I tried honey. That didn't work. It wasn't sticky enough. I wasn't about to Loctite bolts to myself. But you need to be able to get back there with one finger, hold it up against the back of the pedal, and then start to thread the bolt in. Give yourself about an hour to do that accelerator pedal. It's not easy. Clutch and brake, no big deal. Maybe 10-15 minutes a piece. But I'm happy with that. I definitely think that's an improvement to the interior. It looks pretty cool. And here's a final clip with the floor mat back in. I am replacing the mats this year. As you can see, the heel pad is a little bit worn out, but yeah, I'm definitely liking that. So anyways, we're gonna have definitely some videos to come on this car, including a spring, or I guess it is spring 2015 update. It's going into the body shop here in a couple days. We got a couple little bubbles here, and then that last rocker panel, and then that'll be good. And stay tuned for some exhaust. It's finally time to play with that. So with that foreshadowing, I will talk to you in a future video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.